I think the word community does get used too frequently now. I think that it gets thrown around. For me, community means bringing people together in person. I really like the Run Club every Monday. There's the in-person recurring events that we do throughout, so do the lunches, breakfasts. The extension of those events is the Altitude Collective. The Altitude Collective launched mid-2025. The original kickoff event was at Black Estate Winery, which is one of my favorite environments to be in. It's beautiful, the wine's great, the owner and the staff are great. So it was like this perfect event. The weather was awesome. We had a nice lunch. We had the owner, Penelope, speak briefly, and it was such a cool experience. I feel like it really landed well and resonated with all the guests. We had about 20 people there. The event that we did at Manawa Retreat was really cool. It allowed people to do a bit of activity, do some hard stuff together, and then come together for a nice meal at the end of it. So it was cool to merge some skill development, some physical challenges in with a bit of the fun from the first event at Black Estate. We've got our first international event coming up, which is a bit of a random one in that it was based on a social media connection. A guy, Frank Grief, I really liked the way he was documenting his journey and his business life and life in general. And so basing a trip to Sydney around a lunch with him is the exact thing I want to be doing. Because what I was noticing was a lot of the people that I was meeting through the podcast, I kept meeting these awesome people and didn't necessarily have a way to either stay in touch with them or to spend time with them. And I found that often they would be quite isolated. They would be in businesses where their plate is kind of full. They're people that I want to spend time with and develop a relationship with. And what I've found through the normal events that we've been doing, they're generally a bit shorter. They're generally not about just hanging out and spending time together. And so the Altitude Collective was created to bring together like-minded people that are positive, a pleasure to be around. They're up to something, they're doing something, they're building something. The people that have been to the first few events have walked away feeling pumped up, inspired, also feeling really connected to a new group. I can think of at least a handful of different deals of varying size that have either transacted because of these events or are in progress. So that's really cool. The scale and scope is pretty massive as well, which is great because I'm so used to making connections and introducing people on a one-to-one basis. But what's cool about this is that the most unexpected people are connecting, getting to know each other, and then building trust, and then potentially doing deals. So that's really awesome. That's exactly why I started it. The way I want to position the Altitude Collective is it's something a bit different. It's something that combines like-minded people, but it's not about what you can extract out of the group, it's about what you can contribute. So hopefully people go in with an open mind and a belief of adding value and not just what's in it for me. That's really the underpinning of this, is like, how can I contribute? How can I learn? But how can I share? You've got other organizations and clubs, and some of them are a little bit more traditional. They've been around for a long time, and that overlaps with what their offering is. It's not necessarily the modern dynamic that we're trying to create. We're trying to create something that's a bit more fluid, a bit more modern, and a bit more relevant. And so when I think about the Altitude Collective and the future for it, I'd really like to expand the membership outside of Christchurch. The plan is to do more trips outside of New Zealand. I've observed what happens when you get out of New Zealand, especially with a group of like-minded people, based on the Sri Lanka trip this year. Great way to get to know people, great way to be creative, great way to talk about challenges, talk about the future, do planning in a really distant environment. Incredibly valuable. It really brings people together and it forges long-term connections. You know, like you can get to know someone over coffee, but I think there's different layers, and I think the more time and the further afield you go with someone, the greater that dynamic or the greater that trust can be. I think you could probably have 20 coffees with someone, but one trip away would be a faster approach. But if you're curious, if you want to know more, that would be the call to action. If you're curious about what you've seen, what you've heard, the next step would really be to have a conversation. So sit down, we can talk about expectations, we can talk about what the event schedule looks like, we can talk about if you'd be a good fit. That would be the next step. We do have an application form, but really I think a conversation is the better way to get started here.